And good morning, everyone. Oh, I think we can do better than that, right? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right. It is a delight to be here. This is actually the first time I'm meeting some of the MarkLogic customers who are here. So, a really, really warm personal welcome to you. And it truly is a pleasure that you are here, that you're attending, that you're participating. And many of you are sharing your stories with the rest of the audiences as well. So really appreciate that. We also have some prospective customers here. Thank you for coming. I hope that you find the information that we share, as well as the information you hear from our existing customers, as well as from our partners, valuable to you in learning and figuring out how potentially we could solve and help solve your problems as well. And then last but not least, again, thank you to the partners as well, and welcome. So let's get started, right? As we all know, we're living in a very impressive, fascinating, wonderful time to live in the world of technology, right? And I think there's a Chinese saying, right? May you live in interesting times or whatever. Opportunity and challenges are two sides of the same coin. Whatever it is, I screwed up the saying, but you know what I mean, right? Gen AI is such an interesting, disruptive change in technology. So I've been in technology for far too long. I've worked for more than 4 decades. I started when I was a teenager. No, I'm just kidding. So I've seen a lot of transformation, right? I've seen us go from the mainframe environments to client server, to the internet and SaaS and cloud and mobile and all that stuff. But those were sort of what I call platform and sort of infrastructure type of changes. Gen AI is different because it has the ability to bring together and provide you information in a way that's much more easily consumable, right? So it's an information revolution, so to speak, that is really phenomenal. And because of this, of course, everybody's excited. Everybody wants to do a lot with it. Nobody really knows exactly how to do it right, but we're going to do it anyway. And by the way, I mean, people are really expecting it to save trillions of dollars or make trillions of dollars of productivity improvement over time. And because of that, people are today spending hundreds of billions of dollars a year. This is mind-blowing, right? I mean, none of the other technology disruptions we've have had that level of excitement, change, rapid attempt to adopt as Gen AI. But what's truly, to us interesting is that, one needs to look at as an organization and figure out what is it that one needs to do to be successful with leveraging Gen AI. So what does an organization like yours need to do, right? And so I believe that for any really serious, significant value creation for business, you have to have systems that, of course, they have to be intelligent and smart, but they have to be engaging and easy for end users. It starts with the end user, right? If you make it easy for them to use and consume things, if you make it easy for them to find and leverage what they have, that is the foundation of a successful system, a system that's delivering value. And then, of course, it is based on intelligence and being in context, and scale still matters. We've all seen things work in small environments, little demos, but when you talk about large scale, petabytes of data, information stored across millions and millions of documents, how do you bring those together and in a way make sense out of it, right? So really scale and always on, right? Because people are around the world and people are working all the time, and doesn't matter where you are, when you are, you want to have systems that are available to you. Of course, agile and automated, because if you're going to do this right, you have to be able to move fast. You have to have the systems be able to do things on their own, and having that in the environment baked in is really critical as well. And then last but not least, reliable and secure. After all, we're in Washington, D.C., of all places, where the word secure means a completely different thing than what usually most of us in IT think. But even for us, for those who are in the information world, right, security is a hugely critical thing. And so reliability, availability, security, I remember 40 plus years ago, RAS was a term. Now nobody remembers RAS, but that's quite all right. I still remember the term, but it is absolutely critical that, that systems be reliable and secure. But as I said, really the one big important thing that has happened and is happening is that this importance of intelligence and in context driven by AI is truly, truly something that is where the energy needs to be, along with the others. So everybody is looking to do this. I think if you want to be successful as an organization, you have to look to do this and build out systems that meet these criteria. But what's interesting about it is, along with new, exciting, positive stuff, there's always risk. And one should know what those are, right? And I believe that there are some very interesting pitfalls with Gen AI that pretty much everybody is aware of, right? Hallucinations and nonsensical answers are a given now. You know, like I have to tell you this story. So I grew up in India. I came to this country 40 plus years ago. I grew up in India, and India became independent in 1947. So it's a much, much newer democracy than the US, right? So almost a little more than 170 years after the US became independent. So India, just like the US in the early days, had several states, and the number of states sort of keeps changing over time. Hopefully it'll stabilize, just like the US has stabilized, at least at this point, at 50. Has been stable for a while, who knows? And India has these things called union territories. Union is like federal. The term the English term in India that they use is youth. The union government is the federal government. Union territories are places like in the US, what you'd call Washington, D.C., or Guam, or Puerto Rico, or US Virgin Islands. I mean, these are territories of the US, but they're not states, right? So in India, there are 28 states and 8 union territories. So sorry for the little lesson here about Indian politics or Indian political structure or the government structure. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is when I decided to check out ChatGPT one day, and I was playing with it over the weekend, and I said, you know, I'd like to just give it a question which I know that there is really no definitive answer, and see what it does, right? So I said, can you rank the states in India for me based on a set of criteria? And I gave it criteria like education, healthcare, prosperity of the people, economic development, social structure, and I think I even put in happiness of the population. Now, as you know, you give it a criteria set like this, you can rank anybody anywhere, right? Nobody can really give you a definitive list because, you know, who's measuring happiness across 1.5 billion people in India? Not many people are trying to do that, right? So it really is a challenging question. So it started off actually quite nicely. It said, sorry, I actually don't have data on any of the criteria you have asked for, so I'm not sure I can give you an answer. Now, a human being would stop there, and all of us would accept that as a fair, valid response. But one of the things that Gen AI is designed to do is it tries to please you and tries to engage you. And if it did that, your conversation would end. It wants to keep the conversation going. So it then said, however, and it then gave me a long, convoluted reasoning and rationale and came up with a list. So I looked at the list and I said, okay, let me see how it has ranked the states. And I go down the list, and there are 42 items on it. Now, I don't know how many of you are listening, but there are 28 states and 8 union territories, and even if you include union territories, that only gets to 36. I think we can, in elementary school, figure that out. And now I had a list of 42. And I said, okay, something is clearly not right. So I went through the list, and I noticed that some items are more than once. So, you know, the same state is at number 4, it's also at number 21. So I said, you know, excuse me, but how can a state be in 2 places, right? You know, how can you have it on the list twice? And it said, I am sorry. So that's another thing about Gen AI tools. I don't know how many of you have played with them, but if you challenge it, it immediately apologizes. right? Because it wants you to stay engaged. It thinks it's trying to keep you involved, right? So it says, I am sorry. Let me correct that. And it eliminated duplicates, right? Now it ended up with 32. And I looked at 32 and I said, wait a second. If it was 28, I would have gotten the 28 states. If it's 36, I would have said, okay, it added all the union territories. Something is wrong here. So I looked at the list more closely. And sure enough, there were a few union territories. And I said, I asked for only states. Why are there union territories on this list? I said, I'm sorry. Let me remove the union territories. And it came back with a modified list. And now there were 29 entries. So another little tidbit of Indian political history. There is a union territory now in India called Delhi, which is also where the capital is, that was a union territory when India was created, but became a state about 50 years or plus later, and then went back to being a union territory, only in India, right? You give it statehood, then you take it away, right? But because ChatGPT had been trained on information that was stale and not the latest, most current information, and this was relatively recent, it did not know that Delhi was no longer a state. And so, anyway, I've already made the story too long. I can't say to make the story short. But anyway, the reason why I wanted to share this is that the whole interesting aspect about Gen AI is that it is very good at creating answers that sound plausible. It is a great storyteller. But in business, we need facts. In an organization where we are trying to serve certain missions, no matter what they are, we need to be able to rely on the answers to get things done. And that means maybe it should be stored, that facts can be shared in an interesting way, but it has to be grounded in reality. And so this whole notion of hallucinations, nonsense, creates a lack of trust. All of this is a real challenge. And then, of course, you have additional challenges with Gen AI, such as biases. And the last thing is, the companies that have created large language models have done a really good job of showing that they don't care anything about people's copyright laws or anything else, because they've trained them on everything on the planet, whether or not they had access to it or owned it or whatever. And so they're getting sued left, right, and center by people like Getty's Images for images and this, that, and the other, right? Or New York Times for their content, you name it. But so the last thing you want to do is give them your data. I'm sorry, I don't know very many businesses who say, you know what, I have really important private data that is proprietary to us. I should give it to a Gen AI tool. How many businesses are doing that today? Right? There you go. Some are, but when they are, they're not following the company or organization's policy, right? So you are correct. Some people are providing that data to LLMs, but they're providing it really not thinking about the impact it can have. So really, if you have serious information security considerations, you have to make sure that this is truly secure and reliable. So none of these, by the way, are things that can't be overcome. Right? In fact, Gen AI, as I said, is extremely, extremely powerful and useful. The thing is, how do you use it in a way so that you don't fall into the trap of one of these pitfalls? And I believe that if you actually do leverage it the right way, not only can you survive, but you can thrive and you can lead. And really, we at Progress are focused on helping you with exactly that, right? So, our vision has always been to propel business forward in a technology-driven world. And in today's AI-driven change that is taking place, our mission continues to be the trusted provider of the best products to develop, deploy, and manage responsible AI-powered applications and experiences. So the responsible is the key word in my mind of this long sentence. Right? To me, responsible really does mean secure, reliable, trustworthy, something that you can use in your organization, you can use in your business, and know that your information is safe, know that the data that it's going to provide you is accurate, know that it's actually working with your corporate information or your agency information in a way that it is pulling out the right insights you're looking for. And by the way, for this, we have actually created a set of products that we have that fit a particular architecture that is very similar to probably many architectural diagrams you've seen before, because at the top layer, we have a set of products that serve our customers in terms of delivering engaging experiences. And these range from, web applications and mobile apps to, chat conversational interfaces to agents, you name it. We have tools that can help you build these easily, and make them really engaging and exciting and extensively used by developers. And the set of leverage content, create websites, you name it. Beneath that layer of engaging experiences, we have a set of products which are around insights and content and logic. And so these are products where content itself is stored, such as product like Sitefinity. These are products where business logic is run, which include products like the business logic segment of OpenEdge itself, or this is where semantic engines live, like Semaphore. This is where we have intelligent decisioning products like Corticon. This is where we have agentic RAG capability that we just acquired and announced last week. We acquired 2 months ago, and then we announced the Progress Agentic RAG launch last week. So this is where you sort of what I say, you connect the dots from the data that exists into meaningful information that then is consumed through the digital experience tools and products by users. Right? And products, by the way, in the upper layer include things like our DevTools products, such as Telerik and Kendo UI. Telerik, by the way, is a .NET based tool set. Kendo is a JavaScript-based tool set. Again, we are agnostic about what technologies developers want to use. And of course, below this sits the data, right? So we have data management products such as MarkLogic. We have data management products such as OpenEdge. We also have other data access and data orchestration products, including securely managing files, securely moving information around, accessing information from non-Progress databases, right? So not only do we, have our own data stores and data stores, by the way, so the Nuclea product has a data store as well. MarkLogic, of course, has a data store, which is a multi-model data store. OpenEdge has a data store that is a very, very high transactional, high throughput data store used by large and small organizations around the world. But we don't only limit our architecture and our products to work with those products. They actually work across other products as well. And all of this, any application, any mission critical system that you build has to be managed. And so it has to be monitored, secured, so that it runs reliably, so that it is highly performant, and that if something fails, it automatically has capabilities to fail over, and that data and information is secure, not just when it is stored in the systems, but then even when it is traveling across the network. And so we have a whole host of offerings across this stack, and one of the interesting things is people ask, okay, how has Progress been able to pull this together? So our strategy is actually has 3 major components to it. Our first important part of our strategy is to invest and innovate in our products, in our systems, and by the way, also in our people and our business processes, right? We make sure that our people have all the latest technologies and tools, and we train them and we bring them along. We improve our processes. We improve how we do things for you, our customers. A good example of that is PFS that Corey just mentioned. We said, we need to serve the federal government and state governments better, and for that, we need to have an entity, and we created the Progress Federal Solutions Group for that, to serve that purpose. To us, continually improving, continually figuring out how best to serve you while at the same time continuing to improve our products. And I'll talk a little bit more about innovating on our products in just a bit. The second thing we do is we acquire and integrate. We look for the right type of businesses. We look for businesses that are relevant, not just today, but well into the future. Less than 3 years ago, ChatGPT had just come out, right? And we started looking, and we discovered that MarkLogic would be a great fit for the world that was coming, because MarkLogic had itself acquired Semaphore as well, so there was semantic analysis capabilities, there's a multi-model database, there's a really, with amazing customers using it to bring information together, and the value of taking that and feeding that to a Gen AI application or a Gen AI experience for the end user would be amazingly wonderful if we could make that happen. And so the acquisition of MarkLogic was in early 2023. Along the way, we acquired a company called ShareFile, which is around content-centric collaboration. And it's about collaboration across businesses, not just inside an organization, but across businesses in a very secure, reliable way. And it uses AI-driven workflows and AI for personal information security, et cetera, et cetera. That was one acquisition that we did. And then just 2 months ago, as I said, we acquired a company called Nuclea, which was a startup based in Catalonia, Spain. It has become the foundation for us to have agentic RAG as a service offering for those of you who are looking forward to use that. So we continue to acquire and integrate these businesses and technologies and people into the company to make us stronger and bigger, and to serve you with a broader portfolio. And last but not least, it is about you, our customers, right? It is about making sure that you are successful. So if we can't make you successful, we will cease to exist. It's simple as that. Any business has its customers that it has to serve, and you are ours. And so therefore, we have an unrelenting focus on customer success. So let me spend a little bit of time talking about each of these three, and most of my time, rest of my time on what we're doing with respect to innovation and investment in our product portfolio. So we are investing in AI across the board. We started on this journey years ago. We have products. There are some folks here who probably remember that I came to Progress almost 9 years ago, and we said we're going to launch a strategy called Cognitive First. Clearly, I said cognitive instead of AI. That was a bad thing, but I knew that AI at that time was a bad word, so I thought we'd use cognitive. Didn't click, didn't resonate, but that didn't matter, right? From an internal engineering perspective, product effort perspective, we have continued to invest in AI for years and years and years. And some of our products have had, machine learning for data analytics built into it years ago, right? And so, but over the last couple of years, our investment in AI has truly accelerated, right? Because of what has happened with Gen AI. And because of the fact that the market suddenly realized that, okay, this is something that could be useful. And so every single product we have, we're trying to figure out how we can do one of two things with those products. One, can the product actually help you in your Gen AI efforts and your ability to use AI for your own business purpose? And second, can we leverage AI in our product to make it easy for the users of our product, right? So can we make life easier for our developers? Can we make life easier for an IT operations person or a cybersecurity person, and so on? And so both the first two pillars are about AI powering our products, but with two different purposes. One is to make the products themselves easy. The second is to give you the tools and capabilities to create experiences and applications that are AI powered themselves. And then last but not least, we are actually accelerating the use of AI within our business across every function, right? Whether it is sales or marketing or legal or finance or HR or IT, you name it, right? And this is something that we've been doing. We've actually trained all our people. We've trained every single engineer we have, every single developer we have, et cetera. And our chief AI officer, Ed, is here, who will speak tomorrow about some of the efforts that are going on and our learnings and what we have learned in terms of using AI. So please, tomorrow morning session is something that we will share with you how things are going within Progress as well. Or rather, Ed will share. And so anyway, to us, these are all three really, really important things, and we continue to invest heavily in AI. And because of these investments, we have actually been able to deliver dozens and dozens of AI capabilities across our product portfolio. Right? Every one of the products you see up here has several AI capabilities in it, in some way, shape, or form. Right? Progress's very first product was OpenEdge. Right? It's a product that's been around for 40 years. And it's a product that powers more than 100,000 businesses around the world because it powers business applications that third-party vendors have built on top of that database. So it's a really, really powerful embedded database, relational database technology that has been around for a long time. And we have done tremendous amount of work with respect to making it a first-class citizen in the world of AI. So that today, an OpenEdge application data can be used in real time with Gen AI so that you can have answers that are based in true fact. John is going to talk about Progress Data Platform. John Ainsworth, immediately following me, John Ainsworth is our general manager of the data platforms business, applications and data platforms business, and he will share more about this. But it's amazing what we have done with OpenEdge, and John's team has done with OpenEdge. They've also added capabilities for developers of OpenEdge applications to be able to use AI in their work, to get the work done easier and faster and quicker, and have AI tools help them get it done. We have built this thing called Progress Data Platform that brings together MarkLogic, Semaphore. Of course, with MarkLogic 12, we added significant capabilities. There's a whole session by MJ, Matthew Jongelet. I know I always have a hard time with his last name. I hope MJ will forgive me. He's back there, all right. He's too far to throw anything at me, so. I thought he might be here, and then I'd be in danger. No. So MJ will talk about MarkLogic and really more details around that, and as well as the rest of the product portfolio as to what has happened there. Really, I mean, to me, our investments across the board here, Corticon, which is an intelligent decisioning system. Again, it is also available at the edge, so it doesn't just have to run on servers. And it has, it can be used as part of the data platform solution set to make sure that any business rules, any business criteria, any business constraints that exist can be applied consistently so that you don't have stochastic results, you have deterministic results, right? I mean, that's one of the challenges with Gen AI, right? You can sort of, you get probabilistically close at 99.99%, but that's not 100%, right? And for some things, like for example, when we are getting, if our financial results being put out, we're a public company, I want to make sure 2 + 2 is 4. Not almost all the time, but every single time, right? Otherwise, as I don't know how many of you know this, but public company CEOs and CFOs can go to jail if they produce results that are incorrect, that turn out to be incorrect, and I don't look good in white stripes. I mentioned, Flowmon, for example, which is an AI-powered threat detection product that we have for cybersecurity and being able to figure out, what is happening in the network, automatically pinpointing issues, helping cybersecurity experts get their job done. Telerik and Kendo UI, as I said earlier, are front-end development tools. And Sitefinity is our content management marketing platform. It actually uses AI for content creation. By the way, content creation is actually one of the greatest, best uses of Gen AI, right? I mean, you have to make sure that the content is accurate, but it does write well, and it does create people with 6 fingers, and but it does create good images, usually, most of the time. And it's getting better. But it really is great for content creation. So we use Gen AI for that in Sitefinity. We also use AI for propensity scoring to figure out what type of content or what type of material or what type of information presented in what form would actually be the most effective in terms of getting the outcomes that you want from your audience. So it really is an amazing technology that we have applied across the board, and more to come. I expect twice as many capabilities. What we have delivered over the last year, which is in the dozens, I expect to triple that. I expect to have more than twice as much come out over the next 12 months. I really do think that we're moving at a really fast pace here, and we continue to innovate. I'm going to do a really poor man's job of trying to talk a little bit about the Progress Data Platform. John will do a much, much better job at this. But reality is that, what we have done is we've taken things like MarkLogic and Semaphore, products like these, we've integrated them, and we've made it so that when somebody asks an LLM a question or a Gen AI system a question, we make sure, first of all, that the question is understood. The semantic analysis is done on the request itself. It is understood, it is interpreted. Then the system finds the right set of information that would augment the results so that the results actually are based on reality and fact. It shares that augmented information in a very secure, reliable way with LLMs so that they can then use that to actually generate the answers. And then we validate those answers, right? The system validates those answers, again, does semantic analysis on the answers, make sure that it really did answer the question that was being asked. It annotates it with links and references to where the information actually came from that it used, and then presents the answer, right? Or either to a user or to an agent. Right? And so I think this is really important because at a high level, this is about taking away hallucination. This is about making sure results are verifiable. This is about making sure that the answers actually do match the question and are based on fact. As I mentioned, John and MJ will talk a whole lot more about this. I also mentioned that we just announced the Progress Agentic RAG offering. This is a software as a service offering. It's an Agentic RAG as a service offering. What is good about this, what is different about this, what is unique about this, is that it is extremely easy to use, right? We all know that our projects are long and take time and they are heavy lifting, but for somebody who wants to get started and wants to get started at a modest scale, this product does an amazing job of getting them started through, among other things, Agentic help to create the RAG pipelines. It leverages, by the way, it supports multilingual content and multiple formats, video, audio, text, you name it. It integrates with any LLM model you'd like. So multi-model integration is out of the box. It's your choice what model you want to use. It has intelligent search, and it also has, the underneath database is actually built for RAG as well. So again, native support for vectors, native support for semantic layered and metadata search. And all of this, really one more interesting part about it is that it has this ability to provide you with information that says, how reliable are these answers, right? So it has these things called RAG evaluation metrics and with what we call REMI, and it's built-in traceability, built-in quality metrics so that you can track what's the quality of the answers and whether it is getting better or worse over time. Odald and Ramon are here somewhere. They are the founders of Nuclea, which is the product that we rebranded and integrated into Progress and called it Progress Agentic RAG. Odald has a session tomorrow as well, I believe, or today, session today. And I would strongly suggest, if you're interested in this, please do attend. Because, along with sort of this whole generative AI, right, agents are the next big thing as well. So this whole notion of AI and agents coming together, which is powered by AI, right? So I think you'll really enjoy Odald's session. So as you can see, by the way, right, what we have been doing, what we are doing is about helping you avoid the AI pitfalls, right? Building solutions that say, okay, let's use semantics and contextual analysis and provide information and write context to LLMs so that hallucinations and nonsense is eliminated, right? Make sure that AI can be trusted because data sources can be provided and references to those can be provided and answers can be verified so that humans can make sure that things are okay. Humans can also be in the loop just to make sure that there isn't an AI bias, which, by the way, is really an outcome of the data, right? If the data is biased, then the outcome will be biased if it is completely automated. So that's where you have humans in the loop to look for that. And last but not least, built from the ground up as secure platforms. Right? And so we are actually here to help you with this. And so, to summarize what we've done so far and what we have so far is a very clear vision of where AI is going and what our product strategy should be. We also have a very strong set of offerings and that we continue to extend and expand and grow. And we will continue to do more here. And we'll continue to invest in AI, as well as, by the way, we have tremendous expertise in-house to help you and to help you be successful. And by the way, those of our customers who are using it, actually love our products, which is really, 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 really critical. I'm going to run through the rest of my presentation much, much faster. I thought this part was more important. I've been given a 5-minute sign, which is also good. So the second part of our strategy is M&A, right? And people think, oh, mergers and acquisitions, you buy a company. What does that mean, right? And they go, oh, you know what? When you buy a company, you get bigger, right? Progress was less than a $400 million company when we started in 19. And today, we are approaching $1 billion, right? So we've grown 2.5 times in less than 6 years, 5.5 years. So but that's at a very superficial level. I'm sorry, but that's not the story, right? The story really is that we have expanded our product portfolio in a very meaningful way, right? With all the products I talked about on the previous slides, the vast majority of them came through progress through acquisitions over the last 6 years. And I think that is really important because the more products we have that we can connect together, that we can integrate together, that we can bring together to serve you better, the better we can be a partner to you in your journey going forward. We have, because of this, a much larger customer base. Right? We today have a customer base that is at least 5 times as big as we did just 5 years ago. We have more than 3,000 people around the world, which is nearly twice as many people as we did 6 years ago. I mean, it's like, so all of this is so that we can do our job better of serving you. Right? And sure, we have more revenue, we have greater profits, but that helps us invest more in our business and helps us do more, both in terms of R&D investment, as well as acquire other companies, because that too takes funding. So I want you to understand that M&A truly is not just a progress getting bigger. M&A is really progress serving you better, is really the goal. If they can stop blinking, that would be nice, but maybe my 5 minutes are up. Anyway, so we have done this and we've continued to acquire and integrate these businesses, by the way, while at the same time making sure that our customers continue to be happy. One of the most important things that we ensure is that when we make an acquisition, we actually spend resources, time, and energy on helping our customers. Wow, okay. Helping our customers, making sure that they stay with us, serving them better. Our customer satisfaction goes up when we acquire companies. The retention rate of customer churn goes down, which means people stay with us because they realize that we are doing a better job than the prior folks did. Because that attention to keeping our customers, serving our customers, is really the primary focus of the organization. And it's therefore the third pillar of our strategy. And we have all kinds of customers, right? We have 70% of the Fortune 500 are our customers, but then we have more than 200,000 customers that are small and mid-sized customers around the world with 10+ million business users. This is we serve a very, very large audience. And What that means, by the way, is that I have customers who are paying us $2,000 a year. Right? I have customers who are paying us multi-million dollars a year, and I have customers that are paying us a few $1,000s a year. And what that means is for us to be able to deliver modern, great technology in a way that is consumable by even the smallest of businesses, while at the same time also have the scale, reliability, security, governance requirements for the largest of the world. Right? And that is an extremely challenging task, and we're one of the few companies that actually span that spectrum of small to large, providing technology to small to large organizations and democratizing the best technology even for the smallest of organizations. I mentioned our customer net retention rate. We have an internal goal, and every quarter we publish what our net retention rate is because we feel very proud and we know how important it is to retain customers. And our net retention rate is over 100%. What that means is, yes, we lose some customers, but the remaining customers do more with us. They expand their relationships with us. And so overall, that bucket is more full at the end of 1 year than it was the year before. Right? And to me, that is a key criteria for us to measure how well we are doing. And our customer list is just phenomenal, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what industry you look at, doesn't matter what type of business you're looking for. For example, by the way, a vast number of technology companies OEM our products and embed them inside their products to make their products better. And that includes companies like Oracle, Microsoft. That includes companies like Adobe. That includes companies like IBM and SAP. Right? These are companies that embed our products in their products, which is fascinating because you'd think that they are the largest companies in the world. Some of them are, right? And that they should be able to do whatever innovation they want. But there are things that we do better than anybody else, and that is in the area of what we do with data. Right? But we also have other businesses, like, for example, Workday uses us to make sure that all of their DevOps is functioning correctly, and they are a Chef user. Right? We have banks and financial institutions like State Street Bank and Visa and MasterCard. And I mean, these businesses use, again, Chef to make sure that their infrastructure is scalable, reliable, is consistent, and it is configured right and secure. So lots of regulated industry customers, such as healthcare and finance. Of course, government agencies of all kinds, federal and state. And as I mentioned earlier, it is because of our presence with these government agencies that we've created the Progress Federal Solutions Group, and to serve them better. Corey leads this group. She is the president of this team and of this subsidiary and reports directly to me. So she and her team, their entire job is to serve federal and state governments. And it's a cleared entity. It allows us to have an entity that is compliant with federal security and contracting regulations. They provide all of these AI-powered products to help the transformation, the digital transformation that is taking place across governments in the US. And so we are really proud of being able to create this entity to serve you better. There are also, of course, many of you here who are our customers, and many of you are presenting. And I really want to thank you for sharing your insights with the rest of the audience over the next coming days, today and tomorrow, right? And by the way, I did not put up every logo of every customer that is here. So if you don't see yours, please, it wasn't we just said, let's pick a dozen or two and put them up. But thank you for being here. I know that folks like AbbVie and ADM and Boeing are going to have multiple sessions here. I want to share two stories that are not them, but somebody else. Dow, by the way, is using our data platform product to enrich their information. They have enormous amounts of proprietary information. They enrich it. They bring it together. They enrich it using knowledge graphs and ontologies, and then use it for answering questions that are trying to find information, scientific analysis of what's going on, and how do we make make lives easier for the folks that are trying to create new compounds, new chemicals, look for things, look for characteristics of materials, so to speak, that are used in their process. And we very recently are really happy to say that the state of Mississippi Department of Medicaid became a customer, and they are here as well. They started a project to sort of say how do they support the CMS mandatory interoperability requirements, as well as bring data together from disparate data sources and unify it. And now they are getting into the mode of planning out their production rollout, and I'm really delighted that they were able to attend as well. So, I really do want to thank all of the customers who are here today, because it is because of you that we actually exist. And I said this earlier, and I'll repeat it again, right? We have actually thrived for over 40 years. There aren't that many software companies that can say that on this planet today. Right? And I think with your support, I think as long as we continue to serve you well, and as long as we have your support, we know that we will continue to thrive for 40 more. So once again, thank you for attending, and enjoy the summit.